This is Green Lantern, a defunct coaster from Six Flags Magic Mountain. It is one of, if not the worst roller coasters ever built, and today I'm going to build a model of it out of K'nex. Why? Because I'm building a K'nexAmusementPark, amusement park, and every park needs a bad coaster. Just kidding, it's because of this comment here. Now let's get started. The first thing I always do is build a base for the coaster to sit on. I also had to decide which tube support I wanted to use. I went with the smaller of the two because I thought it would match the scale better. With that in mind, I built up all 8 supports and started building them, starting with the 4 in the middle. Next, I added the remaining 4 supports on the outside and connected them to the top with a rod so they wouldn't fall down. The supports are connected to the base with some of these small connectors and just slide into a rod inside the structure. The supports kept shaking, so I made sure to add a few extra braces at the bottom for a little bit extra reinforcement. With the main supports done, I built up the station with some box supports. I then started to build backwards and realized the car hits the supports in the station, so I had to change them. I then kept building backwards, building the final element in a dive loop sort of thing. At this point, it doesn't have enough speed, but as I build more, this should be fixed. And right after I built the next dive loop, I tested and it worked great. Then I built up the mid-course brake run and another dive loop thing. Continuing up, I built the second highest section, which had a little bump in the middle. Then I paused on the layout and started the lift. This is so that I can make sure that the track connects accurately. I had to reconfigure the top horizontal support to make sure that there was a gap for the chain to go. At the bottom, there's a gear ratio with the motor held up by some tube supports. As you saw there, it didn't work, so I had to reconfigure the lift. I just had to move the location of the top gear and now it works. So now all I had to do was finish the last half loop and test if it worked. It did, and now I can work on the next ride. The next ride I'm going to build is a Himalaya or Mac Music Express ride. These rides spin you around in a circle and have a few bumps. I started with testing all of my trains to see which ones are my slowest. After that, I put 5 of them together for the ride. I don't have enough cars for the whole track to be full, so this is gonna just have to do. All the different rods poking up are for future supports. I then added the supports in for the track. There are gonna be 11 total. After that, I added in the track and this extra bit, which is going to be for a walkway that goes around the track. This will make the train spin. There's a red rod in the middle that will spin a lever that will be connected to the train. It's simply put into place where I left some 3D connectors inside the track. I then added the train to the track and connected it to the spinner using a red connector to slide into a gap in the front car, and a rubber band to hold it in place. The next thing I built was the motor. There's going to be a chain that will link the motor and the spinner using just a couple of gears on the rods that they're attached to. After some testing, I realized that leaving the rubber band floating instead of having the red connector connected to the train works a whole lot better. Now it's time to add some of the detail, starting with some supports for a roof. These are just some basic tube supports with a little bit extra reinforcement at the bottom. There's 4 in total, with the 2 in the front having an extra rod for something later. I then added in 4 blue rods for supports and for a station platform. This is made from mostly yellow connectors and has an entrance and exit staircase and then also a fence. And the last thing we need to add is a roof. Now I can say that I have a complete ride in my park. This is because all of my other rides are currently stationless. So I suppose we can fix that maybe. The first ride I built a station for was my small family coaster. There's an entrance queue with some stairs up to a platform, a small building for a ride operator, and then an exit queue. The next two rides are very similar. I just built out a rod in 8 directions and connected them together with a circle. This circle then acts as a fence with 2 openings for an entrance and exit. I built the same design for my swing ride and scrambler ride. I'm not quite sure the layout of my park yet, so for now I just had the entrance and exit and I haven't added a queue yet. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. Next episode, I hope to build some sort of large-scale wood coaster. If you have any name ideas or ride ideas for any attraction in my park, please let me know, as I am terrible with names.